Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
how are you?
How you doing, everybody? Hey, Margaret, we got a special guest tonight. You know him as well as I do.
Yeah.
Uh, I taught Brian down there how to train dogs many, many years ago. He's been training now 23 years. Fantastic trainer. He's got his own business down there in Texas. And I want to welcome you, Brian.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Margaret. Glad to be on.
And everybody knows Margaret. She's the only female of the group. Unless I should change my name to Margaret. I mean, my
That
hair's
hasn't changed.
Hey, tonight, guys, what I think I want to touch base on is the problems that we all have in some of our lessons. Uh, the number one question I get from a lot of clients is, well, why should I pick you? That's one of the questions I get. Why should I pick you? There's a lot more trainers out there that's least expensive and they went to schools and all that other stuff. And, you know, people, it's researching your trainers. Just don't grab the first person, it's cheap. Or the first person that walks in. And honest to God, folks, I actually went to a lady's house that had a 10-week-old puppy. And she invited a trainer out there. I'm not going to say the name of the company because I don't want a lawsuit. He came in, and honest to God, first thing he did is put a prong collar on a 10, 11-week-old puppy. He said, well, this is the way dogs should be trained. Well, needless to say, she threw the guy out of the house.
Yes.
You know,
Good for
and
her.
and then you get the people, the trainers out there. I call them cookie trainers. They think if you say no too firm, you're going to hurt the puppy's feelings, and he's going to be heartbroken. And come on, man, or the people. I understand it's a puppy, and then they say, well, I got a puppy course, or I got this. Well, if you want to call it a puppy course, a lot of people, well, it's a puppy, so it's a puppy course. It's actually a dog, and it's basic obedience. That's the way I look at it. What do you think about that, Brian?
I agree. I think that you've got to start with the basic obedience.
Yeah, I mean, there is no special thing. And everybody says, oh, well, the socialization. But I go to this group class and they give me cookies and my puppy socializing. People, he's not learning anything.
Right.
You take your dog to a puppy course, all it wants to do is play with puppies and they get a cookie. Right. I understand socialization is important. And we all agree on that. But training is training. Playing is playing. That's the way I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've been around the block a few times. This is not my first rodeo. Margaret, what do you run into?
Well, I ran into one lady actually asked me, and I won't say the name of the trainer because I don't want a lawsuit either, what my opinion was on a certain internationally known dog trainer. And I just actually looked at her and told her, I said, I can't give you that because I've never worked with him or her.
Yeah.
They only show you what's on the television. They don't show you behind the scenes, that kind of thing. But I've had tons of questions where sometimes it's really impossible to give a total answer on anything. But being interviewed is great. I like it when people, really give me great questions. I had actually one evaluation I was doing in North Carolina where it was, the lady was cooking dinner the whole time. And I'm like, are you even serious about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But
if you're not invested, you're not going to put forth any effort.
Exactly, Brian. Exactly. I'll agree with that 100%.
Exactly.
I went to a girl's house the other day, had a Rottweiler. And I told her straight up, She said, oh, wait. She said it first. I said, have you been working your dog? Does he know any commands? Well, he knows stay, knows how to sit. I said, will he do it 99% of the time, first time you ask? Well, no. And I said, well, let me see you work him. Here's my leash. Put him in the living room, make him stay, whatever. And he just wanted to follow mom all the time. And I mean, she was trying. But the one thing I stress to the people, or I won't even sign a training agreement, you got to promise me you are going to do everything I say, or I'm not going to train your dog. Period. I won't train everybody's dog. Right. You've got to promise me you will follow through. Now Brian is a trainer that takes dogs in. Okay, he's like a board and train. Now, we all three of us worked at board and train facilities. Mm-hmm. But there are companies now that, well, let me take your dog and I'll fix him. For him, at his facility, yes. But what does he give you in return? Does he give you an e-collar or a prong collar and give you a class and show you how to use it, and you're on your way for $1,800 to $3,000? They're ripping you off. Brian, is it not true? I mean, you're in this business. Yep. You have to show the people a couple commands at a time.
Oh, yeah. They can't take it all. They can't know all of it at one time.
And a lot of people think that if they go to these board and train facilities, their problems are solved. Their dog's going to come home completely trained. Well, that's furthest from the truth.
They talked to the wrong trainer. Somebody oversold them in the beginning.
They're going to tell those people everything they want to hear.
Yep.
I, for one, I don't lie to my customers.
Nope.
I say it's going to be rough.
Yes. Yeah.
Just because I could care less if that dog can climb a telephone pole and walk the wires for me.
Right.
I don't care. My goal, a good trainer's goal, is to teach the owners to be better dog owners.
Better communicators.
Yes.
Exactly. I've talked enough. I'm going to turn it over to Margaret here a little bit.
Gotcha. I tell you, sometimes I walk into someone's house and the dog is, I mean, all over the place, and everybody's communicating with the dog a different way. And then you find out that they've been through 2 trainers already, Yeah. It's like, you could sit there for an hour and try to, well, what happened with the last trainer? What this, that, just start right from the beginning and just do what you do. I've had a client that was like, I'm watching this video, I'm reading this book, and they have me come into their house. And I actually had to tell her to make a decision. Which one are you going to follow? Because if you're paying me, I'm doing you a disservice by you, because the first 20 minutes of the lesson is telling everything that she's read or seen in the video versus what I'm doing. And I'm like, which way do you want to follow?
It just, I tell my, well, I've seen this guy on a video and I follow this person on a video, and they don't understand. When it goes on YouTube or Facebook or whoever, I don't care who the trainer is, they will never show you start to finish. I'm sorry, they won't.
You can't.
I mean, these videos are edited.
Yeah.
They're cut to make it look good. Look at this is all you have to do.
Right.
And you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right?
It's the same one where the client asked me what my opinion of them was. And
I tell
that's
them
exactly why I couldn't give an opinion.
We all know who I'm talking about, us three. I'll train circles around that dude. Great at behavior, fantastic at behavior. But anybody that puts a left hand on a leash and walks their dog with this much of a leash because you have it here, and they think, oh, look it, they got a prong collar on the dog, and they stop, and they have this much leash. Well, as soon as the dog goes forward, he feels the pressure, and oh shit, Dad stopped. I gotta sit. That's cueing the dog.
Yeah.
Well, let's just high collar a dog. Okay, let's just high collar them. You know, you're restraining that dog. Let that dog make his decision and correct him for it if it's wrong.
That's exactly what I tell people. Let him make the wrong choice, and then you show him that's the wrong choice. It's just like your child. If you keep preventing them from making a mistake or falling down, skinning their knee, they're not going to learn, don't climb a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be dangerous.
Brian, what would you say to people out there that are going to be watching this? What to look for a board and train trainer if they wanted their dog to go to a board and train? What should the client look for in that trainer?
If you wouldn't leave your wife, husband, or kids there, don't leave your dog there. That's a safe, reasonable bet.
Yeah. Is there any, I know a lot of trainers, they go in and the first thing they want to do is put a prong collar on a dog. That's the way I train. That's what they say. Or, don't get me wrong. There's one gentleman, he's an e-collar trainer. This guy's fantastic. But the thing is, anybody can push a button, but there's a time to push the button. You're not going to shock the crap out of a dog every single time you tell it to do something. And this man is very good at what he does. I'm not going to say any names, but he's good. A lot of people are dead against e-collars. I, for one, use them very seldom. And if I do have to use the shock, it's very low, or I use vibrate, and I only use that for confusion. I want to confuse the dog. He feels that vibration. What the heck was that? I got his attention. Mm-hmm. All right. But that is my last resort.
I mean, down here in Texas, you've got to learn how to hold a rein. If you can't feel that horse rein and you don't know what's going on, you're on the back of a beast and you're off for a ride. Same thing with riding a bull. It's all about having that correct touch. And if you can't feel the dog at the end of that shock collar, how does that dog know what's going on? What keeps that dog connected to you and you connected to that dog?
Correct.
You've got to make sure that there's a bond that can't be escaped. As long as y'all are working together and doing things together as a team, all of a sudden you start having communication. It might not be speaking a language, but y'all are learning lean left, go left, lean right, go right.
Right. I've ran into situations, and I brought this up the last show, and I'll argue this the point. You know me, Brian. You know me, Margaret. I see there's another dog trainer on here now, and I agree what he's saying. But fear aggressive dogs. Aggressive dogs. Now, the dog's under stress to begin with when he sees you. Oh, my God, who is this? Or he's acting in fear. Well, I look out for the dog. Now, in the old days, I'd say, give me that dog. We're going to war. It was the wrong way of doing it. I, for one, I don't give a crap. You know me, whether you two agree with me or not. I will not put a leash on that dog. I will not handle that dog. Why? Here's a stranger. Mom and dad's over there. This guy's trying to get me to do crap. And what am I doing? I'm stressing him out even more.
Yep.
And I see these trainers take aggressive dog. Let me see your dog. Let's put a muzzle on him. Now, the dog never had a muzzle on. Now you're trying to control him. What the hell is this thing on my face? Who the hell are you? And what are you doing? You're building anxiety up even higher in that dog. But it looks good when it's on the YouTube or wherever it is, because it's edited, it's cut, it's this, it's this, it's this. The trainers, if they start thinking about what that dog is going through, what's running through that dog's mind when he's a fear biter anyway, which 90% of the dogs that are aggressive are fear biters. Okay? So why build up more anxiety in that dog? Why make him more fearful? I tell the owners, you're going to handle the dog. I'm instructing you. Because number one, who is the only person that live with that dog? It's the owners.
The only ones that matter.
The owners have to control it.
Their relationship.
Any kind of dog trainer, you can read that dog like a book when the owner is handling it. That's why then we tell the people what we want them to do.
Right.
I will never handle an aggressive, not because I'm afraid. Brian, you've seen me handle some crazy dogs. You know,
yeah.
Margaret, you too.
Yep.
I've changed it because I wasn't getting anywhere. It was hurting the dog more than being good with the dog. You know, good things happening. And I found that through the years upon years that I've been training, that it's so much easier for the owners to handle the dog. So you're teaching the dog, you're teaching the owners to act as a team. You're off out here somewhere and you're instructing them. Gradually, you can start working your way closer and closer and closer to the dog. I had a German Shepherd Malinois. I walked in this house, man, it was like a brown alligator up on his hind legs coming at me.
Oh, jeez.
I said, holy crap. I only sold this gentleman 6 lessons. By the 6th lesson, I had my dog, Nala, a miniature shepherd, sitting 2 foot from that dog with me holding Nala, and the dog didn't even pay attention. But you do it gradually. And the owners did exactly what I wanted. And it's always redirecting through obedience. It's not a treat. It's not a toy. Oh, the dog's barking at me. And I've seen well, get a toy and toss it to him. Well, get a biscuit and toss it to him. Well, that's fine. The dog's going to eat the biscuit and he's going to eat your ass if you get too close.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if trainers, and this is what I want everybody to look for, whether you take one of us as a trainer to train your dog or whoever, if they say they can fix your problem, give me the leash or put this collar on them and give me a leash, throw them out of your house. I will argue this point to any trainer in the United States.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. I could be wrong, but I've been doing this for 43 years, man. And Brian, you know as well as I have, and Margaret, I have trained thousands of dogs. Of all, they can be scared to death little puppies to the most aggressive Rottweiler you can think of. And I learned through experience, not because I'm definitely not afraid of a dog, but the thing is, I found it easier for the owner to handle. I teach the owner be calm.
Right.
But if the dog's barking, don't pet it and try to calm it down, because then all you're doing is condoning the barking.
Yes. He's taking it as praise.
That dog has to learn that nothing is going to happen to him, and he's got to stand on his own. Do you guys agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Correct.
So, Brian, take it away, man.
So I think that the difference between the boarding and training and private lessons is there are some dogs, actually all dogs, need that consistency in the beginning. And most people work too often to be able to provide that structure and discipline that's needed during an 8 or 12-hour workday while they're at work. So while the dog's with me, we work sometimes 8 sessions a day, maybe only 2 minutes a session.
There you go.
We're practicing short sessions, walking in the right spot and on the heel position next to me on the left-hand side, and getting used to those basics and consistency. Then when you hand the leash to the owners, all of a sudden the dog already knows how it's supposed to respond and behave. Now you have to deal with the original problem, which was somebody who didn't know how to handle a leash or how to handle a dog. So once you have a dog that's already trained, then it's much easier to bring in and try to teach those skills to somebody when the dog isn't fighting them at the other end of the leash.
Good. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Margaret, I know you deal with a totally different fast. I mean, I taught you went to your, so whatever, you know what I'm going to say. But then
Yes.
your actual
I went to
one-on-one formal training, I mean, I worked with you. I worked with Brian. I trained Brian from the ground up. You had a little bit of experience and everything, but you took a different venue. You're into your scent work and everything with clients, and I don't mean narcotic or bomb work. You know, we're talking about service dogs here that can save people's lives. As far as an owner looking for a good service dog trainer, what would you look for?
I would look for someone that's gonna be honest with you. It was just like joining the military. You know, you go to basic training and then you have all these soldiers with you in basic that their recruiter has told them all these fantasy things and all these lies and promises and all of this, which, you know, you end up getting there and none of it's true. My recruiter was very honest with me. So I am very honest with my customers. I am not going to tell you I can do something that I cannot do. I will not promise you the moon and then take your money and then get there and say, oh, well, now I've found that your dog can't be trained to do that. No.
Right.
It's almost like interviewing a contractor. If they try to promise you so much stuff that you're like, wow, it's probably half of it's probably not true.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I know,
be very careful.
I know a lot of trainers, and let's look at things realistic. That dog goes outside. His nose is going. All his senses are working, let's say. They didn't listen to the owner to begin with outside. So if a trainer says on the first lesson, let's take him outside. Are you crazy?
How much distraction is out there?
Right.
You know, why don't you take your 3-year-old to Toys R Us and teach him his ABCs and tell me how far you get?
Drop some bombs around him in the process.
You know, yeah. The trainer, and there's a lot of trainers that do it. God bless them if they're good enough to do it. But the thing is to me, you're not giving the dog a fair shake at this. Right. He has no idea what's going on. There's so many distractions. Take him in the client's garage or do a sit stay like you were doing in your house, Margaret, on one of the videos that you put on there.
Repetitively.
Give the dog an understanding of the commands with no distractions. Then gradually start. And believe me, if there's any trainers out there, you're going to see things are going to go so much easier, and some of these trainers you see, and like clients, well, I watch this guy on YouTube. And let's put them on a leash. We're going to take them out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get them to follow me, and it takes so long, but they make it seem like it's a short period of time. Very few dogs will catch on. I will never start with a long line. I can train a dog on a long line, but everybody isn't me. All right. But I always start on a 6-foot lead and get the dog to follow me. Then I'll start working a heel after he learns to follow me. Then I'll start giving him more and more and more leash. I'll go to a long line and I'll start it at 6 foot. Then I'm going to let some of it drag on the ground. But I'm not going to do that until he understands he's got to stay at my side.
Right. I mean, relate it back to human nature. You don't take your kid out in the wilderness and just let them run 5 miles away from you. You want to keep that child close to you and teach you the dangers that are out there. And then once they've learned the dangers close to you, all right, now I'll let you get a little bit farther away from me. But that's retarded. I tell people all the time, you're not going to take your kid and drop them off on a corner in the inner city and hope that they're going to turn out to be great individuals. It takes something like the Boys and Girls Club. It takes somewhere where there's structure, guidance, and discipline to turn these young people and these young dogs into model citizens, whether they be canine citizens. We all need partners that are going to be reliable and obedient and who love to serve. If you don't love to serve, you miss the whole point.
I agree 100%.
These dogs are doing this because they want interaction with them. They want to feel appreciated and they want to feel cared for. That's why the only way I reward a dog is by petting it and letting it know that it did the right thing.
Right.
That's its paycheck.
Yeah.
And I wish all of the citizens and all the people in our country felt the same way. It's kind of sad where we're at with all of it. If it's not worth $1 million, people aren't paying attention to it.
Right. It's people get a dog to enjoy, but like Margaret's favorite thing is, and she said it over and over and over in these videos, your dog is not a computer.
Right.
Don't sit there and talk to your dog. You're going to tell that dog to do something once, but I will never correct the dog until he understands what he's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Why should I correct the dog for a down if he has no idea what down means? And no, I will not use a cookie.
There would be no reason for placement. Placement exists for something.
Yeah, I told a client, actually, when I was in Texas working there, the first Carrollton office, and I said, would you tell your child, go clean your room and then smack them at the same time?
Yeah.
No, you're gonna tell them to clean their room and give them time to do it.
Right. Right.
You there's timing of that correction. You can't, and you're gonna stress the dog out, if you put too much pressure on it like that. So I mean, you gotta show them what it is first. That kind
right.
of thing.
I tell the owners practicing, like Brian said, don't work that dog over 2-3 minutes, and then break them, and then work them later, and then break them, and you'll see you're going to get a lot further with your dog.
Exactly.
than working. I have one dog I work with. It's a pitty. And pitty does it. And then it's like, oh God, I got to do this again. And they start becoming despondent. And when they become despondent, I've seen trainers, well, you got to correct that dog. Well,
time to enrich
every dog is not the same. Every dog is not a work dog. And a lot of these trainers out here are learning things off YouTube or whatever, and they're looking at a lot of working dog trainers where what the trainer has to realize, and this is for everybody that's going to watch this, you're not going to have a work dog.
Right.
You're going to have a family companion. I even tell my people, and I ask them first before I do this, I said, okay, if you tell your dog to down stay or to sit stay in front of your TV and you're doing something in the house, do you care if he lays down as long as he doesn't move? They said, no, not at all, as long as he stays in one place.
and a show ring.
But, this is not a show dog. This is not a work dog. Now, when you're working with a work dog, you tell that dog to sit, stay. He better sit, stay, period. I don't care if it's 10, 15, 20 minutes. He's not allowed to lay down.
Right.
Because if he lays down, then that's going to hurt your protection work on calling outs and things like this. These people have family pets. Come on, man. Don't listen to all the trainers that come into your home. If you have a trainer that comes into your home and says, I can fix that.
Yeah.
Signed right here. I can fix it. No, he can't.
Here's a word.
Unless he sleeps on your couch.
You have to be realistic.
Yep.
Very, very, very realistic with anything you do with your dog. So even with service dog training, I'm not going to promise somebody who has an autistic child, I can train your dog to go after your child if it starts running out of the house into the street.
Nope.
That's unrealistic. Okay. We need to be even with obedience, you have to be very, very realistic. And I'm sure you've had clients, you guys, that are, they're up here with everything and they think that you're going to train their dog in 5 minutes, which is very unrealistic. So we tell our clients very realistic goals. And that's what you have to really look up.
And another thing I want potential clients or anybody that's going to view this video, when a trainer comes to your house and he says, it's going to take 6 weeks to do this. Get that out of your head. Do not believe him. I'm not saying he can't do it.
Right.
He doesn't live with the dog. He has to rely on the owner doing it. All right. When I tell people, well, my obedience package is heel, sit, down, stay, come, sit, stays, down, stays, verbal commands, hand signals. And I tell them, don't ask me how long that's going to take.
Yeah. I
don't know. Number one, I haven't really worked your dog yet. I know the dog will do it for me, but I can't say you are going to do every single thing I tell you and stay on this dog the way I am.
Right.
That's why the dog does things for me. Now I have to teach you. I have to transfer this training. It'll go as fast as you want, but if you slack up a little bit, we're just going to sit there and spin in the mud, because I refuse to do an in-home lesson if the people can't get that dog to downstay. I am not gonna advance their training to something else.
No.
Why would you advance the training if the people are having a problem with X command?
I offer a 6-week course in private basic obedience. You know, you get to learn heel, sit, down, stay, come, inside distractions, then outside distractions. But outside distractions don't come till that 6th lesson.
Right.
And you get heel, sit, down, stay, and come in your first 2 lessons. So if you're amazing, you might need to only fulfill 2 of those lessons until you feel like you've got it and you can go and do it on your own. But most people do need more than 6 lessons. Most people aren't capable of cutting it in 6 lessons. There's just so much to teach and learn. And we as trainers have to trust that they're into it as much as we want to teach it. You know,
Right.
if you really don't want to know and you're not going to see, I can't help.
Right. I know Kingdom Canine is writing again 90% of the time. I would try to go a little bit higher in that. And what you have to understand is 90% of the time, it's got to be 95 or above for the owners. If it's not 95% or above, they ask that dog to do something and that doesn't respond the first time they're asked, do not take that dog outside. I teach a heel and sit inside, then I may go to the garage, then I may push the garage door up to add a little more distraction. Then I do driveway. If I see the dog is screwing up at the end of the driveway, then we go back up. Not me. I can control the dog. Possibly the owner of Kingdom or Canine can get the dog doing it for him consistently. But that's not what we're looking for as a trainer. We have to get the owners to do it over 95% success rate, or the dog is not ready to go on to the next task. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I know one trainer that I've seen. All I ever see him work is aggressive dogs or reactive dogs. And he takes the leash. You know, give the leash to the owners. Don't work the dog and stress the dog out, then give the dog back to the owner and say, do as I do. You know, no.
At the same time, don't get me bit with your irresponsible handling.
Yeah. The thing, thank you, Kingdom Canine. I know who you are. We've spoke before. I've watched a few of your videos. You got a good grasp on things. I mean, between us 3, we've been around the block, and we worked at facilities that I'm not exaggerating, where every 10 days, the facilities we worked at, every 10 days we're pushing out anywhere from 40 to 65 dogs every 10 days.
Yep.
We each had our own training room. It was grab a dog, bring him in the training room, work him a short period of time, put that dog back up, grab another dog, bring him back in the training room. And
experience, man.
It was stressful.
It takes years. It takes years.
I loved it. I thrive in that environment.
Wow.
You know, but the thing is is that it was dog after dog after dog every week like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it.
And then, you know, to where each trainer would have anywhere from 16 to 25 dogs
25
under their
dogs,
name.
baby.
Or more.
Yeah.
I've had more than that before.
Yeah.
And
And
it's like, how do you do, I'm not trying to, you know, talk bad about it, but it's like, it was very hard to have quality with that sometimes.
Your
but I
scheduling,
mean,
it came
the
down
thing,
to very strict scheduling.
Oh yeah, coming
the-
in on days off, you know, you had pride in what you did, and you worked very hard, and we had, you remember Greg Hackworth? He was
I remember
first
Greg.
started, yeah,
Right.
he first started behind the scenes working the dogs, you know, behind the scenes when they first came in for us. And do a shout out to him. He's in the hospital with COVID right now, so I just wanted to take a shout out to him and keep fighting it, you know.
You know, and I remember that before the trainers put those dogs out, it was up to the manager to view those dogs.
Oh yeah.
That those dogs knew what they were supposed to do, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, that they did all the commands, and if not,
You
he
were
would
working
confront
Friday.
the trainer and say, "You ain't putting that dog home.
Right.
What were you doing?"
Yeah.
I mean, the owners of that school, you know, I mean, it was the biggest in the United States, as many locations.
Yep.
And it was all family run.
Name
And
was-
I, for one, was a manager at one of the schools. I taught a ton of the trainers that went to that school how to train. And they didn't know anything about training.
I still,
Ain't nothing better than no JT. But back to the show is we're not rookies here. We got, like I said, Brian's been training 23 years. Margaret's been training 25 years. I've been training professionally since 1978, and I did a couple of years before that. Now, that's a lot of years you add that all up. We've been around the block. Listen to what we say. We're not going to steer anybody wrong. But
No.
if you have trainers that come into your house and say, I can fix that, or it's an aggressive dog, and they first thing out of their mouth is, well, we're going to use an e-collar, or we're going to use a prong collar. And I'll be honest, folks, and even to you guys here that I'm talking to, I'll train a dog with just a nylon collar. Because where a lot of trainers miss the boat, it's not just putting a leash on a dog and jerking them, or using pressure with a prong, or shocking a dog.
not at all.
It's reading that dog. And the most important part of a correction is timing of that correction. If your timing is off, your correction does no good whatsoever. You nip it in the bud before it happens.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell people when their dog's at a sit stay, I'll tell the owner, watch me. This is where you're making a mistake. I'm going to stand up, and then you tell me what I'm doing. And I'll do this, and I'll stand up. And they'll say, well, you're standing up. I said, no, what action am I doing as I'm standing up? I said, I'm lowering my head and I'm moving forward a little bit. I said, as soon as you see that, hit him with that no. Keep that dog in check. Because a dog cannot stand unless he lowers his head a little and moves up. They're no different than we are. A dog cannot just lift his butt straight up. Right. He's got to lower that head. It could be this much. But and then he's going to move forward that little bit. Hit him with that no. Keep him in check. Even on a heel. He starts getting 2 steps ahead of you. Nope. Just verbal. You don't even need a correction. If he knows what the word no means and you pop that sharp, nope. He's, oh, shit, I got caught. Right?
I don't want you. I just walk the other way.
Yeah.
A lot of trainers, they want
change direction.
You know, or they're holding on. They're using 2 hands on the leash. The leash is this long. So when they stop, that leash gets tight that fast.
Yeah.
And then the dog feels it, and it's like, oh shit, Dad stopped. And then they sit. Throw that leash over your shoulder and see if that dog will sit automatically. That's the test.
Yes.
If you can throw the leash over your shoulder and walk, and you turn left and turn right, speed up, slow down, 3 steps stop, 2 steps stop, 1 step stop, and that dog is popping, you got him.
Exactly.
If you're short enough, you can even do it down.
There you go. Right from a heel.
Stop.
Yeah. But again, it takes time. Trainers, if you're watching, read the dog.
Yeah.
Catch it before it happens. And again, I can't stress this enough. Anybody that's going to watch this, again, if you look for a trainer and they come into your house and they say they can fix this, they can fix that, start throwing red flags up. And no matter what type of training you're doing, the only person that can make it sink in that dog's head is 100 or 90% the owner. Because I will argue this point too, because I'm in an arguing mood. A trainer is only 10, maybe 12% of fixing a client's problem.
That's right.
It's up to the client to follow through.
That's right.
Yep.
I agree with
Yeah.
I mean, I see all these videos and they got the trainers working the dog and working the dog. Oh, look how well this dog does. Give it to the owner. That's what I want to see. Throw that leash over his shoulder. I want to see that dog work. I want to see the final result. I can give 2 shits what the trainer can do.
Right.
It's just like a personal trainer. You're trying to get someone to lose weight, and you know, I've had people tell me, but it's up to me to do the work day in, day out in order to have success with that program.
Right.
It's just like with dog training. And I'll tell you another tough thing also is when you go in and you know you can do well with this dog and this family and you see potential there, and then you ask for payment. I don't know how y'all ask for payment, but at first I asked for it up front. Because here's why, guys, and a lot of people wonder why, is because you can't take the training back out of the dog. Someone sells a car, they can go repo the car.
Yep.
They can go do whatever. I can't come back and take the training out of the dog. So it's like when we ask for payment, at least half of it up front.
Yep.
But
I just say, give me a deposit on the evaluation when I go out and I meet the people and the dog. I said, or you can give it to me up front. But I tell them I require a deposit and the balance on the first lesson before I even get started.
You guys are worth so much more. You guys are worth so much more.
And
cash up front.
I mean, Brian.
You trust me or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're all in or you're all out.
Any trainer out there that's working 5 years or more, if you're good at what you do, take pride in what you do.
Yeah.
All right. I see trainers, Brian, out there. I want $50 an hour. I want $70 an hour. I charge $100 to $125 an hour per session.
And with your experience, that's cheap.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Some of these behaviorists out here are charging $600 to $800 an hour in Dallas.
And you know what cracks me up? A behavioralist. This is what cracks me up. A good trainer is a behavioralist.
Damn straight. What haven't we seen that they think they know?
Yeah. Well, I went to school and I got these initials after my name.
Right.
Well, I don't care if you got the alphabet.
Yeah.
You're nothing.
Hey, save yourself some money. Come see a trainer. If we can't handle it, then go see a behaviorist.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let them sit in a chair and talk, play soft music, and give them some champagne.
Oh, well, you need some doggy drugs. Don't forget some Xanax and some Valium.
Yeah. I want to touch base on something here. Brian is in North Texas. He is just east of the Dallas Metroplex. Well, it's southeast, isn't it?
I'm straight south, baby. Get on
Oh,
35.
you're on Waxahachie, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody around Waxahachie you want a good trainer? Brian's your man.
Yeah, if you're in
Anybody
States,
in the Jupiter, Florida area? Margaret, are you still training obedience dogs, or are you strictly service dogs now?
I'll do both.
Okay.
I do both. I do obedience and service dogs.
And you also bring dogs into your house or go to the client's house, correct?
Yes, I do more of bringing it to my house, but I'll do lessons at their house as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
How many?
that's a brave woman up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Margaret, I never forget Margaret when I used to peek in on her, man. She'd see me looking through the window and she'd be like, damn.
Those one-way windows were awesome, you know?
Yeah. You never believe some of the stuff I seen through them windows, man.
I know, right? People don't know being watched, right?
Yeah. But again, watch out who you get for a trainer. Brian touch base what to look for in a good trainer for a board and train. A good trainer doesn't use just one method. Well, I got to put a prong on because that's the way I learned. Or I got to use an e-collar, or I'm just a cookie trainer because I went to 4 weeks of watching videos and 3.5 weeks of classroom, and I trained 2 dogs with cookies, and I'm a professional trainer. Please. A good trainer will use every method.
Whatever works.
If you need a treat to motivate, use a treat, but take the treat away. I only use prongs as a last resort. I only use an e-collar for a last resort. And still to this day, I'll have a dog throw me a curveball. It's like, where the hell did that come from?
Right.
Well,
They're wild animals, man.
It's figuring that dog out. And I see so many things online with that professional dog training, whatever it is, group or organization. I see trainers asking other trainers, well, I got a dog, he keeps peeing and I can't stop him. And what do I do? And this dog just chews on chairs. What do I do? You're supposed to be a professional trainer. Figure it out. Or find a different, work in a factory or something. I didn't catch what Kingdom Canine said. Do you still have that, Margaret?
You got to know your equipment. If you don't know your equipment, you can't use it. It's like a carpenter's hammer. If you don't know which end of that hammer to swing, you ain't ever going to drive that nail.
Exactly. And that's good. You got to know. Yeah, exactly. Way to go, Kingdom Canine. I hope you're learning something tonight, man.
Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, definitely. Like, share, subscribe. We're on every Monday.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Again.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Brian, who knows, man? I may come up with something and have you chime in again next week.
Let me know. I'm always available.
All right. Brian, you're a fantastic trainer. Like I used to call Brian, and it has nothing to do with drugs. It was a Miyagi thing. I used to say, come on, weed hopper.
Hey, you're still.
Same to you, Kingdom Canine.
Hey, don't forget to rub the wizard.
Oh, yeah. That's what Brian used to do. He goes, I'm having problems with a dog. He goes, I got to rub the wizard. He'd come up to my arm and rub the wizard. Yeah.
Thank Bob. I do appreciate it all.
Brian, you're a fantastic trainer, man. Just keep up the good work. All right. Margaret, what you do, I couldn't even touch. I mean, I can train a bomb dog. I can train a narcotics dog. I can train a dog for tracking and stuff like that. But I wouldn't know the first thing as far as scent work on someone that has seizures or things like this. You know,
Hey.
that's fantastic what you do. It really
Thanks.
is. And it's not
Thanks.
just training the dog, you're saving people's lives. And that's what matters.
Appreciate it.
You know, that's fantastic. And I want to give a shout out, if he ever watches one of these, Paul Kaufman. All right.
Hey, Paul.
Paul's good trainer. And he's got his own company now called Blood Trackers. And he teaches dogs to trail deer, or if you're hunting and can't find something, you call Paul and he brings his dogs out and find it for you. So,
awesome.
but if you're in the Dallas area, look Paul up. There's Brian in Waxahachie and Margaret in Jupiter, which you told me is between Boca and West Palm.
I'm in Boynton Beach.
Boynton. I thought you were in Jupiter.
No, that's the company I would work for is in Jupiter, but I am myself in Boynton Beach, which is between West Palm and Boca.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, guys, it's been a great night.
Yeah. Thanks.
Do you have anything to add, Brian?
Hey, watch who you're picking. You know, like I said earlier, if you wouldn't leave your kids, your wife, or your husband, don't leave your dog there. You know, you want to be a part of this family. You're looking to this person for direction. You better make sure you know who they are.
And if they say that you can't come see the facility, then that's a problem.
Yeah, huge red flag.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. You have a good night, and I'll see you next week.
Bye,
Like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Like, share, subscribe. There's Brian's email coming across there.
Yeah.
There's mine and Margaret's.
Yep.
Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Bye.
You too.